Hello, everyone, and welcome to Evolve Yourself TV. I am Agni James, and today we will be doing a guided meditation, which I will be running. That's what I do here. I run guided meditations and talk philosophy. That's why I'm making the big Twitch bucks, right? How is everyone out there doing? How's life for everyone? P. Barrow, you are here. Are you enjoying life right now? Uh, I hope so. I hope you're at least able to find some peace and joy in life at this moment right now. Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about my day. Today for me was I don't know. It was all right. JT Farms, you're saying how am I doing? Yeah, that's a good question. I was really frustrated from that stream last night. Those of you who don't know, I was streaming a meditation last night, and everything was going beautifully. It was just this beautiful, orchestra of a meditation, right? And everyone was like really zened in and just feeling the energy and feeling the love, and it was going wonderful. And then I have this glitch. I have this Twitch glitch, right? And the stream cuts out, and all the users, all the viewers just disappear, and my stream ends, right in the middle of the meditation. I was just about to get to the best part, and I could, it was really that's frustrating for me. It's like I feel I'm one who's very much into fairness, like the fairness of the universe, and I feel like if I put in enough good effort to trying to help people, trying to help others, and trying to just enable people to have more peace and more love in their life, then I should when I'm doing that, I shouldn't get completely fucked over basically. But it happens, and it's just really it's disheartening, I guess you could say, uh, when you realize how unfair existence can be at times, right? But then again, one could argue that existence is not unfair. It's very easy to make the argument that we just are finite beings, and we don't possess enough knowledge such that we actually can see the big picture of how everything actually in fact is fair. So that's an argument that people use, and yeah, I see that argument sometimes, but then at the same time, sometimes I'm just a lowly human, and I get frustrated when my stream cuts out. Let's see. P Barrow, you say yes, thanks, good. Well, I'm really glad. I'm really glad that you're finding some peace today and that you're okay. We gotta be careful, we gotta worry about our family member, right? Bonnie, we gotta. Um, my aunt Bonnie has been really sick lately, and so I'm devoting all these meditations to her well-being and to try to, you know, give her positive chi healing energy such that she can make a full recovery. Um, this has been a really frustrating last 2 years for me. I've lost more people in the last 2 years than I've ever lost in all of my years combined. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I've known more people that have died within the last 2 years than in my entire life. And it's like, and a lot of times these are healthy people. My friend Sean passed away a year and a half ago, and he was an avid bicyclist. He would ride all over. I mean, he was in great shape. He was married. He had two little daughters, and then one day he just dies. His heart gives out on him. He had apparently some genetic defect in his heart, and it just gave out on him, and it was like the most depressing thing in the world, right? This is a father, with two little daughters, and he's such a great, wonderful human being, and then he dies, and I've just been watching people drop off left and right. It seems like everyone I know has just been dying lately, and that it's just like, yeah, one of the most depressing things ever, right? So I'm trying to keep things positive. I'm trying to come out here and put some good into the world and do some meditations and try to take that energy from the meditation and send it out into the world. So hopefully people can be healthy and happy and live good, productive, meaningful lives, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's all about, living a life in which you feel fulfilled. It's not about going to some 9 to 5 job that you absolutely hate and then coming home and eating a microwave dinner. I mean, that's just not what life's about. There's more to life than that. We have this deep-seated need for enlightenment, for transcending the mundaneness of this basic phenomenal world. And when I say phenomenal, I'm referring to Kant's distinction between the phenomenal and the noumenal world. The phenomenal world is the world that we perceive via sensory experience and processing of that experience. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Hey, DJ Krishuns, you're here now hosting my stream. Thank you so much, brother. It's so good to see you. Whenever you pop in, man, I always appreciate you. DJ Krishuns, otherwise known as Imbalanced Physique or John, is an awesome streamer here in the Twitch community. Let's see, did that shout out notification go out? It did not. Why did my shout out notification not go out? See, there's another frustrating thing right there. But anyway, here, I'll just do it manually. Shout out imbalanced. All right, there we go. Let's get this going out. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and let me make a little note there. I want to make sure that these shout outs are actually going out right now. Okay, so anyways, yeah. Life can be frustrating times. But anyways, with Imbalanced Physique, otherwise known as John, he's an awesome streamer here in the fitness and health community on Twitch. He is going to the NorCal meetup. I believe it's this weekend, and he has challenged Mum Furious to a push-up competition. And Mum Furious is no joke, but neither is Imbalanced. You said you did 250 push-ups, at one point. I know it was spread out, but still, you did 250 push-ups in one day. That's pretty intense, man. That's pretty intense. I've never done 250 push-ups in a day. I've never done anything close to that. When I do my push-ups, I typically I'll just do like one set of 30, and then that's it. And you're doing 250, man. That's impressive, dude. You're pretty jacked, man. That's awesome. But yeah, anyways, definitely check out his stream. Check out Imbalanced Physique stream, and yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of how it's going. But yeah, JT Farms, you say let's see. Oh yeah, but yeah, I know. Yesterday, when the stream crashed, right? It broke our meditation, right? It's like what a frustrating thing for me. I'm trying to give love and light to people. I'm trying to share that with people, and just to have my vibe interrupted by something that I can't control. John, what we're talking about right now is last night I was streaming, and you know how you stream for a while, and then you get viewers in, and everyone starts chatting, and things start going well. This is what happened last night, and then we had this. I had a good meditation going, and the stream just cut out. It just crashed. My stream just fucking crashed, dude. It fucking crashed right in the middle of like a beautiful meditation, and it was just it really, it bothered me, man. It just really bothered me, like when I'm out here trying to help people, and then I have something out of my control just happen like that. That's frustrating. It said that actually happened to you during mid workout, and again last night. Really, I wonder if this is a Twitch problem. I wonder if there's something going on with Twitch right now. Maybe so, man. But yeah, isn't it frustrating when that happens? It's like, dude, you're out there, you're doing the work, you're putting yourself out there to try to make a good stream for people, and then and to try to help people, and then all of a sudden it just crashes, and then of course, then you lose your viewers. Maybe you'll get like one or two back, but like you never know, and then it takes a while to build up viewers over the longer you stream, the more viewers you typically get, right? And the more people that you have exposure to, such that you can help them. And it's like I had everything going, the flow was great, and then it just completely crashed out on me. And really was frustrating. JT Farms, you say you're sending healing vibes my aunt's way. Thank you so much. She's a wonderful lady. This is my Aunt Bonnie. Just she's so welcoming. She's one of those people that, whenever you see her, you smile because she's just such a kind, loving, compassionate human being. And she's a big talker too. She's always willing to engage in conversation, and that's so important, right? You like every family needs someone who's like a big talker, someone who gets like the party started, right? And that's my Aunt Bonnie. She always hosts all. First of all, she's amazing. She hosts all the events that our family has at her home. She has a really nice, beautiful home, and she hosts all the events there. She's a great socialist. She's always chatting up a storm. Just a wonderful, warm, welcoming person. And now she's in the hospital, and we don't know what's going to happen. These streams are all dedicated to her lately. I've been trying to just, give her as much positive energy and healing vibes as possible. That's kind of where we're at with that. JT Farms, you were saying death is unfair, but we do what we can to keep on. Yeah, the whole notion of death, right? And like I said earlier, one could argue that it's not unfair. One could argue that it's just the most fair thing in the world, right? That we just don't have enough. That as finite beings, we don't have enough processing power, and we don't have enough data to actually see the fairness in death, right? Or if you adopt metaphysics like me, if you adopt the metaphysical assumptions that I hold, one could say that, well, this whole realm is an illusory dualistic framework, that space time, that the space time reality in which we live in is not real, that it's not real from the context of eternity, right? From eternity, from the state of totality and oneness, we just have monism. We don't have dualism. We just have that monism, and that's it. It's like you have, and once you have monism, how could there be any parts, right? You can't. And by monism, by definition, is just pure state of oneness, right? So there's no division, no separation. It's very very Parmenides like, right? But yeah, so maybe it all is fair, and we just don't have the knowledge. Maybe when people get shot by a stray bullet just walking down the street, it's perfectly fair. But from our human perspective, from our living in Kant's version of the phenomenal world, right? It seems unfair, right? It seems totally unfair, and maybe that's just the case because we don't have enough processing power and data to be able to draw those kind of conclusions. So, all right, where are we at here? We went through imbalanced. The imbalance, you're saying too kind, Agni. Absolutely, man. I'm always here for you, dude. You deserve Hey, John, you deserve kindness, and you deserve love, and that's my message here. That's what I'm trying to tell people. Trying to tell people. That's what I am telling people, right? That's actually kind of something interesting. A lot of times people say, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, when they actually are. That's like a habit I fall into. Do any of you fall into that habit? But yeah, like when that happens, it's like, no, I'm actually doing this, right? I'm actually doing this, So yeah, but yeah, you're worthy of love. You're worthy of love, and you're worthy of kindness because you're a good human being, and you're authentic, and you're real, and I believe all human beings, despite whatever they do, I think their foundational essence is the same as ours, because I believe in monism. That's my foundational assumption of reality, right? So like, because I believe in that perspective, I feel the love within me, and I see that love in others, and I wanna really explore that love and go into that, because when you see that, all the bickering between people disappears, because you realize you're the same as them. And think about that. When you come into contact with someone, if you hold that you are identical to that person, because your foundational essence is love, and their foundational essence is that same love. If you hold, and that all the other things, all the other like consciousness and all those other properties that we ascribe to human beings are simply just going to be, just going to disappear one day once the dualistic framework collapses into a state of pure monism. If you hold that view, I mean, it's how can you ever be upset with another human being, and how could you ever not want that human being to experience anything but the purest love imaginable, right? Because that's what you are, and that's what they are, and you want them to feel that perfect peace. But that requires like being able to really identify with the love within, and then see that love in others, right? All right, let's go down a little bit. JT Farms, you were saying, did I figure out the glitch? I did not figure out the glitch. I'm not. I didn't play Twitch's free DMCA streaming music at the startup screen today. So like, I'm not going to play that because it's not really that important, And like, we'll see, And then maybe one day we'll play it, and if we have another glitch, then I'll know it's that, right? So I didn't figure out the glitch. I'm going to throw out a little warning. There's like a 5% chance that during the meditation today or sometime during the stream everything cuts out, right? It's just one of the hazards of possibly streaming, and it's frustrating. But yeah, that's just how it goes. Yeah, that actually happened to you mid workout. Yeah, yeah. You're right. You're totally right, man. Imbalance, John. You are so right. It burns out when you lose the viewers, man. Because like there's a lot of Twitch streamers that are like, oh, they'll say they don't care about the viewer count, right? That's like that's what they'll say. But I mean, I really find that hard to believe. I find that bullshit. Like if I'm streaming to 0 people, that doesn't feel nearly as good as streaming to like 20 people, right? Because I mean the thing is, my whole purpose, that the whole reason I'm doing this is to try to help others, and to get people to understand more mindfulness techniques, and to be able to learn meditation, and to be able to understand more philosophy. And if I'm streaming to no one, it's like I'm not helping anyone. What am I even doing here, right? But if I'm streaming to 20 people and they're engaged and they're interested in what we're talking about, I mean, and they're getting something and they're feeling more love and peace, and I'm actually doing something. So it was total burnout, man. When you lose the viewers. Victor, sorry, you say that at least in one tradition, meditation is referred to by the word sadhana, which by one interpretation means effort. The idea is that meditation is not about what happens per se, but the internal devotion. So is that kind of like the intention, right? The intention just to go into meditation. I like that, man. Which by one interpretation means effort. So it's like if you're putting in the effort, if you're putting in that dedication to try to meditate, then you're actually still driving benefit, even if the meditation, even if your mind is distracted. I totally buy into that, man. I totally buy into that. I think that's a really good point, Victor. Sir, and by the way, it's great that you're here, man. You always bring a lot to the table. So thank you for tuning into my stream tonight. Yeah, and that's kind of how and that's funny because that's kind of how I feel. That's exactly how I feel about philosophy as well. I feel like you may never come to any of the deepest truths about the metaphysical nature of reality through philosophy, right? But I believe there's intrinsic value. There's just natural value in that search, in that pursuit, and trying to expand your understanding, and trying to learn more about who you are and your place in the world and the human condition, and all the metaphysical concepts as well about the nature of reality, right? So, and not to mention all the rest of philosophy. It all has value. It all has so much value. By the way, some of you don't know this. There's a lot of different areas of philosophy. There's literally an area of philosophy that surfaced over the last, I think, maybe 10 years called the philosophy of bullshit. How crazy is that? They literally talk about bullshit artists, and how bullshit artists are actually so pernicious to society and to the world. And they say they argue that the bullshitter is more dangerous than the liar. And now you might think, well, wait a minute, if someone's just a liar, if someone just comes out and is telling lies, why would the bullshitter be more dangerous than the liar? Why would the bullshitter have a more destructive effect on humanity than the liar, right? Because that it doesn't seem like it makes sense prima facie, right? But the reason being is they say because the liar knows where the level of truth is. The liar knows where truth is, but just tries to lie. And so basically they teeter that boundary between truth and lie, and but they at least know where that level of truth is. The bullshitter doesn't care at all and doesn't even know a lot of times about that level, about where truth is. And because the bullshitter doesn't even is not concerned at all with truth. The liar is at least concerned with it, because if the liar gets caught up in a lie, it looks bad. But the bullshitter doesn't even care. So they said in philosophy of at least in the one reading that I did on philosophy of bullshit, they were talking about how the bullshitter is way more destructive than the liar. Um, let's see. P Barrow, you said lovable. Yeah, I forget the exact context, obviously because, things happen here, and I move on and I start talking about it. But yeah, thank you. I think we're talking about Bonnie. Yeah, those of you who just joined the chat, my aunt Bonnie is really sick in the hospital, so please send her some positive vibes. She's just a wonderful person, and I really, really hope she gets better soon. All right. JT Frems, you say whatever belief system, it doesn't lessen the pain of losing someone. Yeah, and that's so true. That's so true, because we're humans, right? We have this finite amount of data that we can store, and finite amount of processing power, and we can't see the big picture of what's actually going on, right? We see like little snippets, right? Because think about it. We have our five senses that bring in just a tiny subset from the total set of data that's out there in the whole world, right? Out of all existence, right? We just get this tiny little bit of data, and then we take that tiny little bit of data, and we use what little processing power we have and the tools that we create, like computers and whatnot, to extrapolate from that data and to try to understand reality, right? And to try to give a good picture of how the world actually is. Um, but it's kind of insane, right? It's kind of insane that we even take that approach, if you think about it, because we don't have enough data to ever really come to any wide sweeping conclusions about things. So yeah, I mean that's just something. It's something weird. But yeah, what your point is so valid, JT Farms. Whatever belief system, it doesn't lessen the pain of losing someone, because we have those feelings, because we don't have the totality of all information, right? It always hurts. It always hurts from a humanistic standpoint, right? It always just hurts whenever we lose someone, especially someone we care about, right? And there's really no way to just be like, to write it off and just be like, oh well, it was, it's God's will, or whatever, right? People say things like that. It's like, but they usually say things like that when it's like, a 90-year-old person, right? When it's like, a 6-year-old kid that's getting shot in the head, that's a very different thing, right? I mean, people aren't usually like, oh, it's God's will, or if they do, I feel that's an asshole comment to make, and I've heard people say things like that. It's like something horrific happens, and it's like, oh, don't worry, it's just God's will, right? It's just God's will. That's why all of your children now are dead because of God's will, right? Or all of your family members committed suicide because of it's just God's will, right, dude? That's fucking insanity. Like whenever I feel people who use that argument are so ignorant, right? And they're so just disrespectful of the emotional state, and they're not empathetic towards one another. I mean, sometimes when things happen, it fucking sucks. When life comes through and like just really like makes your existence terrible, through events out of your control, it's just, you got to validate that, with the other person. You got to hear what they're actually saying, and give them validity. Show them that they're not like, show them that they're not alone in whatever they're experiencing. All right, let's move on. DJ Krishuns, otherwise known as John. I'm not crying, I swear. Well, man, you are worthy of love and compassion. Absolutely, my love is the same as your love, dude. We're one. We're one, and we're one being according to my metaphysical views on reality. So yeah, of course I would want you to feel love and kindness. And you have said that you rarely get kind words, and that's because you never grew up to experience like that. Dude, so it's hard to process all of that. But being overly sensitive can get you emotional and overwhelmed. Absolutely, man. You know what? If you grow up in an environment in which your feelings are not validated, that's crazy and that's stifling and that hurts us, man, at our core. Because like we might have feelings like let me give you an example from my life, when I was younger, I would like tell my mom like I'd be like, hey, you know what, I'm feeling terrible, right? I feel like garbage, I feel really unhappy, and I don't I'm not doing well, and she would you know what she would say to me? She would say, you're doing better than you think. You're doing good. You're doing better than you think. And I'm like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm going through this like horrific experience, of internal chaos and pain and suffering, and you're literally going to sit there and tell me that I'm doing well, that I'm doing great. It's like what are you doing? And I'm telling you my heartfelt desires, my heartfelt like notion of where I'm at as a human being. So it's like she just doesn't get. She has zero empathy. She has zero ability to empathize with another human being. And so I've come to learn that over the years, that's what's going on. But it still hurts, right? When someone doesn't validate your emotions. Victor Story, you say one interpretation of death is that it gives life meaning. Life is sweet because life is short. Yeah, and you hear that, right? Death. Without death, there could be no life, right? Death gives life its purpose, right? Because then you have this like this clock ticking down from the beginning, right? And it's like, oh, you better make the most of your life, right? But yeah, and that is one way to think about it. Victor Story, you say my pleasure is to be here is just to be here, right? Just to be here to experience the human condition, right? With all its highs and lows, right? And a lot of people will say that, right? Their pleasure is to just be here and to be able to feel what's actually going on and to feel the vibe and the energy of life and to be in love and to feel those feelings, and just to travel, to travel throughout the world and meet all the people, that are just these seemingly disparate entities from our perceptual goggles, but are probably just all of one conscious one mind to begin with. But yeah. P Barrow, you say Bonnie. Yeah, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, with Bonnie, totally lovable. She is a totally lovable person, and just such a kind person, right? And so yeah, hopefully she'll make a good recovery and get through this all right. All right. So, does anyone else have anything they would like to discuss, or should we move on to the meditation? It's up to you. I am simply your servant. I am the humble slave of the chat who will just, try to offer peace in whatever ways I can. And I drink a lot of water. Oh, and JT Farms was getting on me for drinking distilled water. Um, so actually, I kind of want to talk about that a little bit because people get on me and have been getting on me for the distilled water thing, right? Because they're always like, "Oh, I've heard distilled water leaches nutrients out of your system, right?" But I've always doubted that. I've always denied that is the case. And here's my reasoning, right? I consume a lot of fuel, right? Like a lot of food, right? Well, what happens with food that you consume? It gets broken down, right, in your digestive system, in your stomach, right? You have all those acids, right, and you have all those things that are breaking down the food into its constituent parts. So it's like, okay, so then you get the nutrients, in your stomach, right? So then you take a sip of distilled water, right, and it goes down in your stomach and it mixes with those nutrients, right? And it's not just going to be like it's not that like you're getting a solution. You're not getting, I mean, like a literally like in chemistry terms, right? You're getting a solution, right? You're not getting simply distilled water in your stomach. You're getting distilled water that is now mixed with like the potassium and sodium and all those other minerals and elements, right? So it's like, how the fuck is it that argument works, right? I could see if someone is not taking a lot of nutrients and is not getting a lot of nutrients through their food, right? Then maybe like the distilled water is just flushing everything out. But it's healthy to drink water and it's healthy to consume healthy food. So like, and it's all going to mix together in the stomach. So how is it possible that drinking distilled water is going to leach my body of nutrients? And that's so. And until someone can give me a good response to that, because no one I've talked with has given me a good response to that. Until someone gives me a cogent argument about why that it would not be the case that they're just mixing together and like that, like I'm just getting like a normal, amount of nutrients and things are not getting flushed through my system, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. Besides, I feel distilled water tastes the best. But yeah, so speak now or forever hold your peace. Is there a cogent argument about why I should not drink distilled water? That's actually valid, right? And that's actually sound for that matter. By the way, let me give you my reasoning too about distilled water. I did research a while back, and this was reported in legit scientific journals. It turns out that fluoride is not beneficial for your teeth, or and after the age of 2. So basically, when you're 2 years old, up to 2 years old, you need to consume fluoride, right? You need to consume that, and it's good for your teeth, right? But after the age of 2, it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing to benefit the quality of your teeth. So it's like, well, then you might think, well, then why is there fluoride in all the drinking water, right? Well, it turns off that steel manufacturers back in the day, when they were producing steel, and this is still the case now, when steel manufacturers produce steel in our in the world, fluoride is one of the byproducts of that. It's one of the byproducts. It's one of the things that comes off of steel production, right? So they're like, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to get rid of all this fluoride? How are we going to dispose of all this? And they went on this marketing campaign and said, hey, fluoride's going to be great for you. It's going to help your teeth. It's not bad for your body at all, right? Blah, 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 right? And they convinced, Congress and the FDA and all these people basically to say, hey, fluoride's good. So now all the steel companies can just pour their fluoride out into the oceans, into the streams and rivers and lakes in our world, right? But fluoride's not healthy. It's absolutely not healthy. And there's not been a tremendous amount of research against its negative effects, but there's a large body of evidence that does suggest that it may be a carcinogen and that it may actually cause cancer and have other pernicious effects in our well-being. And we haven't done any long-term studies, of fluoride consumption in any reputable scientific journals. And because it's just not something that's been done, and maybe there's no profit in it, right? And if you want, in order to get grant money, you have to show how your research is going to be beneficial, to in a monetary sense a lot of times. So I don't know. No fighting over water. Let's see. JT Farms, you say distilled water has no trace elements. We need trace elements. Funny you say that, JT. All right, here we go. Bam. Bam. We got trace minerals right here. This is literally the brand. Of, it's a powder that you can pour into waters and stuff like that. And, oh, hey, Evelyn Yoga is rating with a party of 7. Namaste. Thank you so much, Evelyn. We were just talking about nutrition and water and how important it is to hydrate and to get minerals into your body. I actually drink distilled water, which is kind of wild, but I have trace minerals, which are awesome things. Let's see, are my shout outs not going out today? My shout outs, it looks like, are not going out today, so we are going to be doing there they go. All right. Okay. But yeah, so I have trace minerals, so I am getting trace elements. But I just drink distilled water, and I feel like it just all gets, mixed together when in my stomach, right? Because it's like, when I and it's like it's fine, right? It's no big deal, So so distilled water. The knock on distilled water has always been, oh, it leaches all the minerals and nutrients from your body. But you can avoid fluoride that way, and fluoride is not a healthy thing. I was just saying that after the age of 2, there is no evidence that shows in reputable scientific journals. There is no evidence that shows that fluoride is actually beneficial for our teeth. It's crazy. It's crazy. After the age of 2, there is no evidence that supports that. So like, why are we drinking fluoride? Because it's a byproduct of the steel manufacturing process. And then they can just, they lobbied the FDA, and they convinced people, and then they were able just to get their fluoride, dumped off into the oceans and lakes in throughout the world, right? But it's an unhealthy thing. It's an unhealthy thing for us. So I drink distilled water because it doesn't have fluoride, and then it mixes in my stomach with all the trace minerals and nutrients that I get from food and the breaking down of food and whatnot. And then it's good, and then it's just I'm getting what I need, and it's not getting flushed out of my system. So that's where we were at. Okay, but as far as Evelyn Yoga goes, I want to give her a big shout out. She's an incredible yoga streamer here on Twitch in the fitness and health community, and she's such a positive person. It's like I go to her stream, and she's laughing and smiling and joking around, and she's making yoga fun, which is what it should be, right? I mean, when I do my Bikram, I'm big into Bikram yoga, which is 105 degrees, 90-minute classes, and it's brutal. I mean, and I'm a sweater to begin with. I'm like ×2. I'm like +2 on sweat glands or something like that, right? When especially in high heat, So 105 degrees, 90 minutes for me is like crazy. I sweat out like a gallon of water throughout the course of my practice. My mat is just drenched. It's literally drenched after, and I'm walking out and it's like dripping behind me. It's madness, right? Oh, look who's here. We got Terra Time here too. Terra Time, hello, the emote queen has entered. All right, so by the way, no one's going to be seeing my face for a while. You're just going to be seeing emotes on the emote wall that are popping up because the emote queen has graced us with her presence. Thank you, Terra Time. She's a wonderful streamer here in the fitness and health community on Twitch. Totally kind, loving person. I had the honor of hanging out in her stream earlier, and it was just so awesome. She was eating chocolate though. She was eating chocolate. She does have a strong craving for chocolate, and that's cool. But she's cool because she just like Evelyn actually. Terra Time. I was just saying that Evelyn Yoga makes yoga fun and interesting for people, right? She's such a positive force, and you're the same way, right? You make your workouts fun and interesting. You two actually have a lot in common in that sense, right? Because that's what we need, right? Most people when they think of working out, they're like, oh, I gotta get up, I gotta do 30, 40 push-ups, then I gotta lift and do these curls, I gotta get the curls going, and then it's like I gotta go run 5 miles or whatever, then I gotta do this and that. It's going to be such a pain. People usually aren't looking forward to their workouts, but Evelyn Yoga and Terra Time, they make it such that you look forward to your workout, and it's great. It's such a positive experience, and they're wonderful forces on Twitch, and I've mentioned this before. Twitch used to have had to have a knock against it, that it was very toxic. And that was always the knock against Twitch, right? But then the fitness and health community opened up, and it was just like a bunch of streamers that were dedicated to like trying to improve the overall well-being and lives of the people in the Twitch channel, right? And so it was such an awesome thing, right? So yeah, definitely understand that Twitch is undergoing a huge revolution in that we're making it less toxic, and we're bringing in more positivity, and definitely support Terra Time. Go check out one of her streams, check out Evelyn Yoga streams, and give them both follows, and just support the streamers, because at the end of the day we're here for you guys, and we want to try to help. We're here to help, basically. We're doing this as like it's basically volunteer work. I mean, Twitch money, right? Unless you're like getting like 50,000 viewers at a time, doing a hot tub stream, you're not making bank, right? So we're basically here, just doing volunteer work, and like even dropping a follow does so much for the streamer. And a lot of I think a lot of viewers don't realize that. But yeah, dropping a follow, just following someone, it's like, wow, what an awesome thing to do. Because it boosts exposure, right? The more followers you have, the more viewers you have, the more exposure you get, and then the more people you can help. Where I was talking about it earlier, when I'm streaming, and if I have like 0 people that are watching, it's like, I mean, it's fine, but it's like I'm not able to help anyone. I'm not able to improve the overall quality of someone's life, and I'm not able to make someone smile even, and that's like, that's not that great, right? But if I have like 20 people watching, it's like, this is awesome. I have people watching. I have people that I can help. In certain ways. I can talk philosophy with them. I can teach meditation and mindfulness, right? And that's what we need, right? All right, so I know I missed a ton of stuff in the chat. Where were we at? Wow, a lot of stuff coming through. Um, see, Evelyn, you said you still do tap water. LOL. Yeah, I mean, tap water. You're getting your essential nutrients as long as it's not toxic. As long as it's fine, right? Some places you can't drink tap water. Like when I was in Thailand, they were like, "Don't drink the water here. Don't drink the tap water," and I took that pretty seriously. But like as long as the water near you is good enough to drink. I mean, I get Lake Michigan water here, and it's actually not too terrible. But I'm still a distilled water fan, so that's kind of my thing. Uh, Evelyn, you say you always forget to do shout outs. Yeah, I forget too, right? Sometimes I forget to do. I mean, it's just something that happens. But I have automatic shout outs now set up, so it's a cool thing. You might want to look into it. You can just type a list of streamers that you're friends with, into the chat that you respect, and then whenever they show up, it just automatically does a shout out for that person, and then you don't have to worry about it. It's like one less thing you have to do to type, right? So and then whenever that happens, and I just communicate a little bit about it. So yeah, let's see. JT Farms, you say if you feel good, damn it, keep drinking water. Keep drinking water, sweat. Water sweat. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna assume you mean water sweet or something, or water and sweating or something like that. But yeah, I mean, if I feel good, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I drink a ton of water though. I am drinking like 2 gallons of water a day, which is very excessive. No, you say, Evelyn, thank you. Well, much love to you as well. You're such a wonderful soul. I don't know where you've been. I mean, I think you took a break, right? You used to stream, and then you took a break, and then you came back, right? I but it's I didn't know you. Like when I started streaming, I didn't know you. I've been streaming for about like 5 months now, so I'm still trying to grow the channel and improve things. And it's cool that you're here, because you and Grace, are like such phenomenal yoga streamers, and yoga with Jen, like you three basically. I mean, I consider you top tier Twitch yoga, and Yoga Hana too. He knows his shit too. So you four, the top four, yoga pure yoga streamers, right? All right. Where are we at here? Tons and tons of awesome emotes from the emote queen. We got the hyper crown. Oh, and those of you who don't know, I'm going to be doing a new emote. It's going to be Terra Time, and I forget who brought it up. I think it might have been Imbalance last night. He was talking about that I'm the banana king, because I usually have like a thing of bananas here, because I get cramps in my hamstrings and stuff like that. And the potassium from the banana just kills the cramps. It's great. It's like the best remedy. And potassium is one of the most readily absorbable nutrients in your body. So like when you eat potassium, especially if it's in like a liquid or like a soft form like banana, it gets broken down really quickly, and then it just goes to the places in your body where you need potassium. And by the way, a little bit of science. Some of you might find this interesting. I believe the reason why we get cramps is because we're low on potassium, right? And people know that, right? But then they don't know the further explanation behind that. In our bodies, in the cell membranes of our cells, we have these things called sodium potassium pumps. All right, and the sodium potassium pumps are actually
absolutely crucial in maintaining osmotic balance. Like one of the main things that our body needs to do is to keep a certain amount of nutrients and minerals inside the cell and a certain amount of nutrients and minerals in the extracellular fluid. Okay, so like there's these sodium potassium pumps that are embedded in the cell membrane, and what happens is you'll get like a potassium that will bind to the cell surface receptor of the sodium potassium pump, and then it causes a three-dimensional conformational shift in the cell membrane, which turns it, which actually allows the potassium to go into the cell and then the sodium to come out of the cell. And think what's happening if the sodium comes out of the cell, right? That's changing the amount of water in the cell, right? It's enabling you to maintain more osmotic balance. So the cool thing is, but that's why when you don't have enough potassium, your osmotic balance is off in the cells, and I think that's what causes the cells to cramp up, right? So that's a pretty cool thing. I studied molecular bio and psychology as an undergrad, so like I have that molecular bio knowledge, and every once in a while I can come through with that and like share it with people, and it makes me feel good. So thank you for hanging out with me while I shared that. But yeah, anyways, I'm the Banana King now, so I dig the crown. I'm going to make a new emote that's going to have a banana, and then it's going to have a crown on top of it. So we'll see how that goes. Terror Time chocolate. You need energy. You are a chocolate fiend. Is this common in Argentina? Are people in Argentina chocolate fiends like you, or is this just you? I mean, in America, I know a lot of people that are obsessed with chocolate and that love it and that are constantly, taking it into their system and just eating as much chocolate as they can. But you're able to do it, and then you work out so much that it doesn't even turn to fat on you. I mean, it's amazing. You're in tip top shape. So yeah. Let's see. Imbalance. You say you work out for your mentality's sake, dude. Working out is so good to keep us more level-headed and more in tune with our bodies and in tune with just the world, right? Because when we feel like garbage, like if we're like 500 pounds overweight laying on a couch just like not moving much, I mean, we're gonna feel like garbage, right? We're not gonna feel healthy, we're not gonna feel happy, we're not gonna feel mentally balanced, right? So yeah, when you work out, man, it's gonna help every area of your life. It's not just physical, but like mental, emotional, spiritual, even one could argue. Terror Time, Terror Time's talking some shit to Imbalance. I know you're here, you better run. She wants you to get back to work. You gotta watch out with Sergeant Terror Time, right? She doesn't mess around. If you're slacking, she's gonna get on you, even though she might be eating a piece of chocolate at the time. Terror Time's the kind of person who would be like, running like a marathon, but eating chocolate bars in the process. It's just incredible. All right, where are we at here? Tons and tons of amazing emotes. Bruno is rolling around in your living room. Who's Bruno? Who is Bruno? Imbalance? Is that like a dog or cat of yours? Like, who is this Bruno? I don't know Bruno. Oh yeah. Oh, JT Farms. You asked the exact same question as me. You asked the exact same question. How about that for being on the same page? JT Farms and I are like this. We actually got to talk last night, and it was cool to talk with her. I was cool to talk with her on the phone. It's always great to talk with a fellow. She's a fellow poet, a wonderful person, and it was just such a wonderful experience. Just being around someone who gets me. Because we both have first of all, we both have mental health issues, right? And that's that's something that a lot of people won't admit, right? We have to struggle. We're poets, though. Poets typically have mental health issues, right? If you look at all the great poets, I mean, Emily Dickinson, I mean, she basically was a shut-in. I mean, none of the great poets were very like well-adjusted human beings, and a lot of people will argue that poetry is based on emotion, and I agree with that, right? So it's like your strong emotional feelings are what make you be able to write great poetry. And if you don't have strong emotional feelings, if you're just like a computer, it's like, how are you going to do art, right? At the end of the day. Oh, Bruno's your dog. Is that a dog? Yeah, Bruno's the dog. Okay. Let's see, where are we at? Victor Story, you say, may I share a philosophical idea based on spirituality? Perhaps you could offer your take. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I would love to hear it. You're always welcome. You're always welcome to ask to share with me anything you feel that is interesting or relevant, or something that you feel is going to be helpful. An idea written by a spiritual teacher that you respect. All right. Imbalance. Banana with the crown. Yep. Banana King. Right. All right, where Bruno is so beautiful, beautifully cute and lovely. Terra time you say. Well, I can't wait to meet him. I'm assuming it's a dude. Bruno sounds like a dude dog's name, right? Um, yeah, I can't wait to meet him. You can redeem him in my channel. That's like me redeeming Parmenides. Those of you who don't know, you can redeem Parmenides in my channel, which is basically me bringing in my cat, and I hold her up here, and then she tends to claw me, and bite me a little bit on my neck. Not bite me, but claw me on my neck, because she doesn't like being held, and she's like, why is he holding me here? Why is he like holding me out in front of this big computer screen? She doesn't get it. Um, in balance, you're going to be streaming in a few. Cool. All right. Yeah. Nice. All right. Where are we at? Where else are we at? Do they often make hot chocolate in Argentina, made from the traditional powder with spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, vanilla, and cayenne? Uh, like a fondue. All right. Okay. The idea. Here we go. Victor Soar is coming through with the idea. Whoa. All right. We got a lot. We got a lot coming in here. This might take me a little while to get through. Kali Yuga is described in the scriptures as the human condition when human life, human thoughts, human existence remain clouded with darkness, so that all sense of discretion is lost. One in this state is described as sleeping. However, when one's consciousness is aroused, so that one begins to feel what one should do, what is proper, what they have to do for human society, that this is known as the scriptures of the Dvapara Yuga. Really, really interesting. Hold on, I need to read that again. I need to read that again to really get the gist of it and to really delve into it. You say Kali Yuga is described in the scriptures as the human condition where human life, human thoughts, human existence remain clouded. So basically, I take that to mean like clouded with darkness. So it's like your third eye is blocked. That's like in my meditations, I like to say, your vision of your third eye is obscured, and I always use ego and ego thoughts to be that obscuring layer that's actually keeping you from seeing clearly, right? So darkness, so that all sense of discretion is lost. One in the state is described as sleeping. Yeah, right. They're like the people chilling in Plato's cave, right? In the allegory of the cave, they're just staring at the reflections on the cave wall, right? Absolutely. One in the state is described as sleeping. However, when one's consciousness is aroused, so that one begins to feel what one should do, what is proper, what they have to do for human society, that is known in the scriptures as Dvapara Yuga. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think I like that, and it's funny, like that right there that's not something you hear like I've heard in other disciplines, in other philosophies, and other religions and spiritualities. That's something that's like it's not a really uncommon notion, right? That as humans, we get our third eye gets clouded, right? And that we can't see things as they truly are. But then once we can remove the obstacles and the barriers to that perfect spiritual sight, then we can actually we know our purpose, and we know what we're here for, and we know who we are. And that's something that a lot of people don't ever really question, right? It's like if I ask you, if I came up to the street on you, and if I came up to the street and asked you, well, hi, who are you, what would you say? Most people first start by saying their name, right? But then you're like, no, who are you? And it's like, then the person will be like, well, typically describe, well, I'm a lawyer, or I'm a janitor, or I'm a, I don't know, I work at Six Flags Great America, right? But it's like, no, who are you, right? So basically, the whole idea of that question is, what is your foundational essence? What is the thing that makes you you? Such that if you lost it, you would no longer be you, right? And in my metaphysical view, the assumption is that pure love is what makes us us, right? That pure love is our foundational essence. Other people will say other things, but that's my personal view, right? So yeah, it's interesting that you said that. Okay, then let's see, go on to your next point. When after rising from sleep and opening their eyes, people look about themselves and think they must have to rise up, that they must not be inactive, that they have great responsibilities which have to be discharged properly, then this, in the language of the scriptures, is known as Treta Yuga, when they actually start moving ahead, and then this is known as Satya Yuga. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so let me do the same thing again. Let me read through that again to make sure I'm fully grasping it. When after rising from sleep and opening their eyes, people look about themselves and then think they have to rise up, but they must not be inactive. They have great responsibilities which have to be discharged properly. And this, okay, so yeah, yeah, and again, you can go back to Plato. You can go back to Plato and his allegory of the cave, right? When the person escaped, when the person was able to take off their shackles and was able to walk out of the cave, after their eyes acclimated to the light and they were able to see the real world, that person did not stay out there, right? They didn't stay out there forever, right? They decided to move on. They decided to go out to feel it, to experience it, and then to go back into the cave though, and to try to help those that were chained up, right? So that kind of goes along with what you're saying, yeah, they don't want to be inactive. They have to rise up. They must not be inactive, right? And that's the thing, right? It's like you find that place of perfect love and peace. Are you just gonna, then go off and be an accountant and not help people in the way of sharing love and peace? And I just threw accountant there because I feel like an accountant's kind of a bland job, right? And I was just looking for an example. Sorry, all the accountants out there. I know probably all seven of the people here right now are accountants. I'm sorry if I've offended you. I'm just joking. I kind of doubt that anyone here is an accountant. But yeah, absolutely. And then JT Farms, you say, "Whoa, that's something to think about." Yeah, yeah. Victor, so you say you're referring to powder added to heated milk. Okay, I suppose I've never had the pleasure of fondue. Victor, yes. Who are you? A great question. It's the most important question that I feel that we have to think about as human beings. And I'm going to repeat that. The who are you, right? Who are you really? What is in philosophy, we call it the deeper kind. We call it the deeper kind. We'll also say that there are certain essential properties of a thing or of a person, right? Such that if they lose any of those essential properties, they are no longer considered a person, right? That those essential properties are necessary conditions that one must that must be satisfied, such that one must have them in order to be considered a human being, right, or a person, right? And that gets tricky though, right? Because like some people will argue the psychological view of a human identity, of personal identity, and the psychological view holds that what makes a person is third person or first person perspective, right? The ability to reflect on oneself, and also what makes a person is psychological continuity. Baker, I think, was the one that brought up this point. So she said, knowing that event A happened before event B, and event B happened before event C, and event C happened before event D, that all those memories and that sequential ordering of those memories in a temporal chronological fashion is what actually makes us is what our deeper kind is, what our deeper essence is. Another view on the table is that our deeper essence is that we're just animals, that we're just basically monkeys. We're monkeys with overgrown prefrontal cortexes, right? That's another view on the table. Another view on the table is that we're the neural nihilism view, and a lot of neuroscientists actually believe in this view, and they believe that, and Buddhists as well actually hold this view. It's kind of funny, but that we don't have a self. Right? How cool is that to think about, that we don't have a self, that there is no self to begin with, right? It's kind of paradoxical, but it does work, and there are some cogent arguments for it. I actually think it's a very compelling view of what personal identity is, of what we are as human beings, of who are you, what you are. So that's another view on the table. So yeah, I mean it's interesting. It's interesting the different views. The professor that I took in philosophy of mind, Dr. Carl Gillett, he argues for the brain view, and he says our deeper kind is the brain, and that what it means to be a person is to basically have a fully functioning brain or whatnot, right? Um, that's like a sideline variation. He's pretty much the only one that's arguing that view. I don't find it compelling at all because of my molecular bio background, and like I know that like the brain is so woven in with the central nervous system, right? And and the peripheral nervous system, and it's like how can you just draw the line at the brain, right, and say like that is what we truly are. And he wasn't talking about brain in the vat, right? That's a different argument, and that's been long disproven, and they're just showing that it's not realistic, right? But he was talking about that our deeper kind or deeper essence is actually the brain, right? And then the other view on the table, the fourth view on the table, the one that's like actually like has a lot of arguing for it, is I mentioned the other day. It was the new dualism view, right? It's a vast improvement over the Cartesian dualism view that was held in that we're two separate substances. And whatnot, and because the Cartesian dualism view did not do a good job of explaining like how where the brain really resided, and like how it is that, or not the brain but the consciousness, right, and how consciousness can exist, and things like that, right. It didn't Descartes didn't go into depth, and a lot of that was because he didn't have a lot of the science at the time to back it up. But the new dualism is pretty cool. I recommend two authors, Hasker and then the other one Lowe, Lowe, and they talk about emergence. They talk about emergent properties. They say that it's the three-dimensional conformation of the brain that enables consciousness to arise. That three-dimensional conformation enables emergent properties also to come into being. So it's kind of an interesting view. So check it out. I lean more towards the neural nihilism views on some days, and but yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe or maybe there are a lot of good arguments for it as well. So the emergent view. So we'll see. We'll see. Where are we at here? All right. Victor Story, you say that there is an interesting philosophical question based on spiritual ideas that I have read. I know that I exist. Are the two is the same? Let me read that again. There is an interesting philosophical question based on spiritual ideas that I have read. I know that I exist. Are the two is the same? If you could clarify that a little bit, it would be much appreciated. One interesting side note about that you exist, right? So that was always the thing, right? Descartes cogito, right? So it was always basically, I think, therefore I am, right? And that was supposed to be this knockdown argument to prove that we exist in some level, shape, and form, right? Even if we're just a thought in another being's mind, we still exist, right? And Descartes came out with that as like an argument, an objection against skepticism, right? First, he adopted radical skepticism, the most radical form of skepticism you can basically, you can adopt, and then he came to that one idea, right? I think, therefore I am, and so that was supposedly like this knockdown argument. But then later on, people said, well, wait a minute, hold on. I think, therefore I am, that presupposes an I. And so think about that, right? I think, therefore I am, that if you're going to say that, you're presupposing that there already is an I. But then you might think, well, wait a minute, but what about my thoughts? I must exist in some form, right? But what if you're not the thinker thinking your thoughts? And that's really interesting, right? The notion that there's an I, first of all, is just a presupposition. You're just presupposing it, right? And then you might not be the thinker thinking your thoughts. Maybe we don't exist. Maybe the neural nihilism view is correct. Maybe we are. We just are whatever. Something else. But that's one of that's the one of the fourth that's the one of the four main views of personal identity and what it means to be an actual person, what our deeper kind is. The psychological view, neural nihilism, the the excuse me, so it's like animal view, right? And then the new dualism view. So check them out if you're interested in what it means to be a person and to be considered a person. Okay, Victor, sorry, you say um, eyes are the two eyes the same? I know that I exist. Are the two eyes the same? Okay, there is an interesting philosophical question based on spiritual views that I've read. I know that I exist. Are the two eyes the same? Well, I mean, assuming the eye even exists, right? We don't know that now. We don't even know that now. Philosophers have really done a number to us. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Descartes was trying to fight against radical skepticism, but and then this new objection came out that's pretty damn strong, in the neural nihilism camp. And Buddhists have been saying the same thing for a long time, that there is no I, right? That there is no foundational I, that we're just part of like this big big beautiful thing, this beautiful love or energy or whatever, right? But yeah, so that's kind of cool. All right. Well, I have been talking for a while. It's been over an hour, and I think we're here for some meditation, right? This is the point. This is the point of coming to my channel. Where I'm a meditation instructor. I'm a meditation guide. I want to help people, and I want to teach them something that's helped me a lot in my life. So let's jump right into the meditation. So you're gonna want. Okay, so I always come out pretty high intensity, and I'm always like real intensity, and then I slow things down. And I take a few deep breaths, and I would invite you to do the same. And find a nice, comfortable, seated position. You can sit in lotus pose on the floor. You can sit cross-legged with your back against the wall. Or you can sit in a chair. The main thing is to find a comfortable seated position that works well for you. And then gently close your eyes and take a few slow, deep breaths on your own. And I have a Buddhist chant that I play, and it has a chime that rings every 2 seconds. And you can use that chime to help regulate your breath count. Take a few more deep inhales on your own and deep exhales. And sit with good posture and focus on your breath. Inhale through your nose gently raising your belly. Exhale through your mouth, gently lowering your belly. Breathe in through your nose, gently raising your abdomen. Breathe out through your mouth, gently lowering your abdomen. Throughout this meditation, stay focused on your breath count. Inhale, gently raising your belly. Exhale, gently lowering your belly. Breathe in, gently raising your abdomen. Breathe out, gently lowering your abdomen. Be attentive of your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. The breath calms the body, and the body calms the mind. Keep your attention on your breath. Inhale through your nose, gently raising your belly. Exhale through your mouth, gently lowering your belly. Breathe in through your nose, gently raising your abdomen. Breathe out through your mouth, gently lowering your abdomen. Remain mindful of your breath. Inhale, gently raising your belly. Exhale, gently lowering your belly. Breathe in, gently raising your abdomen. Breathe out, gently lowering your abdomen. Stay focused on your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. The breath calms the body, and the body calms the mind. Stay focused on your breath count. Visualize yourself sitting on a mountaintop, watching the clouds move below you. You watch as two clouds merge into one, and one cloud divides into two. You watch as the clouds move through the sky, to and fro, and you watch as the clouds disappear over the horizon. Those clouds are like your thoughts. Thoughts rise into being, exist in consciousness for a while, and then disappear from conscious awareness. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that is of no benefit. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all that does not serve you well. Your essence is love. The manifestation of love is light. your purpose is to shine your light on others. And awaken the inner light within them. And they will shine their light on all whom they encounter. Until the whole world is lit once again. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that is of no benefit. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all that obscures your third eye sight. Stay focused on your breath. When thoughts arise in your mind, visualize them as clouds, watching as they disappear over the horizon. And return your attention to your breath. The breath calms the body, and the body calms the mind. Stay focused on your breath. One of the goals of this meditation is to travel deep beneath the level of consciousness to the place where no thoughts remain. In that place, in your heart chakra, you feel nothing but the purest love. Explore that space. What do you feel in that region at your heart chakra? Do you feel warmth from your heart? Do you feel love and light? Do you feel the pulsating vibration of that love? What properties exist at the heart chakra? Explore that space and become one with it. For that place is your foundational essence. Inhale through your nose, gently raising your belly. Exhale from your mouth, gently lowering your belly. Breathe in through your nose, gently raising your abdomen. Breathe out through your mouth, gently lowering your abdomen. Stay mindful of your breath. When thoughts arise in your mind, visualize them as clouds, watching as they disappear over the horizon. And return your attention to your breath count. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that does not serve you well. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all that obscures your third eye vision. Be mindful of your breath. On your next inhale, travel deep beneath the level of consciousness. Travel into the heart chakra and explore the warmth that you feel there. Your essence is love, and it radiates from your heart chakra in every direction outwards to infinity. Search around at that region and find your center point, the point at which your foundational essence lies. And once you've found that center point, walk on through into that place of perfect peace. In that center point, there is no dualism, there is no division, there is no separation, there is only monism. In that center point, you come to remember who you truly are. In that center, you come to remember what you truly are. In that center, you come to remember what your purpose is. In that center, you come to remember that you are eternal. In that center, you come to remember your immutability. That center point is your eternal home. That center point is the source of all creation. Inhale through your nose, gently raising your belly. Exhale through your mouth, gently lowering your belly. Breathe in through your nose, gently raising your abdomen. Breathe out through your mouth, gently lowering your abdomen. The breath calms the body, and the body calms the mind. Stay attentive of your breath count. You are divine. Being divine, you possess all the properties of divinity. Your eternal nature is immutable. And in this place of perfect love, you feel nothing but compassion for all of humanity. Your foundational essence is love. Gently open your eyes and return to the present moment, bringing with you the peace from this meditation throughout the remainder of your day. Namaste. Thank you all so much for being here with me and sharing this sacred space. I am truly honored to be your meditation guide tonight and to be here with you. You came here today and you did the work. You meditated. And that's going to have more benefit for you than 99.9% of all things you can do in your life. So thank you for being here to improve yourself, to evolve yourself. How was that for everyone? How was that experience? I hope everyone had a really wonderful, beautiful experience. I hope everyone had a wonderful meditation. I feel more peaceful than I did prior to the meditation. And yeah, right now I'm feeling pretty good. I hope everyone's feeling good as well. How was that? Any feedback? JT Farms, you enjoyed it. Wonderful. Thank you. I'm glad. I always appreciate feedback. I want to make these meditations as good as possible. And by the way, if anyone has any insights or advice or feedback about how I can improve my meditations, let me know, because I want to make these the best meditations on Twitch. I want to make these the best meditations I possibly can. So any feedback is always appreciated. Terror Time, oh, thank you so much, Miss Emote Queen, Miss Chocolate Emote Queen, the chocolate workoutaholic. Hey, Kittens Kung Fu is here. Oh my God, how are you, Kittens? Dude, brother, I've been missing you, man. I've been missing your streams. Like what's been going on? Have you been streaming these days? I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen any of your streams in a long time. Like what's new? What's going on? And you say, first of all, let me give you your shout out. Kittens Kung Fu is an incredible streamer here on Twitch in the fitness and health community. He's such an awesome guy. He is an expert in martial arts, and he knows Qigong like no one else. His mastery of it is incredible. He knows all the internal energy arts, and he's so good at focusing his energy and being able to summon energy and strength. And he's just such a wonderful, kind human being. And he's from Chicago, like me. We're both Chicago folk. We live in Chicago, South Side Polish neighborhood, and we don't mess around. We get our beef over there with our brothers. We get our food. We get our Chicago style hot dog. If you put ketchup on that hot dog, there's gonna be a problem, a major problem. Yeah. So we're Chicago brothers. We're Chi-Town brothers. So it's great. It's great to have him here. What's up for a Polish sausage from Maxwell Street or an Italian beef sandwich from Al's? From Al's. I've actually, as sad as it sounds, I have never had an Italian beef sandwich from Al's before. I'm going to have to do it. I'm definitely going to have to do it at some point. But yeah, at this point, I've never actually had one. It's ridiculous because I've lived here my whole life. I mean, I went to undergrad in Peoria, Illinois. But like I've been in the Chicagoland area my whole life, and it's like I need to get an Italian beef sandwich from Al's. You're totally right, man. You're totally right. I mean, but there's so many good places, right? And I don't like the big chains. That's like another big thing with me. I like the small, authentic restaurants. The ones that have been here for forever and are just they're not the clean. They might not be like the cleanest, most pristine looking places. They might not be the most aesthetically pleasing, but they're not a chain. I don't like chains. Chains of restaurants. They just feel cheap. They feel inauthentic. You need that real place where you have like the owner of the actual place. They're working and greeting the customers and stuff like that. and you get the people that go there every day and are playing chess and are playing checkers, and it's just such an awesome community of people. And so yeah, like I need to try that. I need to try that beef sandwich from Al's, and I'm always looking. I'm always on the hunt for new places. Kittens, you say you haven't streamed in a few weeks. Oh, you've been very, very busy at the new gym. Well, congrats, by the way, about the new gym. That sounds awesome. But I get it. Yeah, we get busy, and that's why I'm trying to take advantage of this time that I have now, where I have a lot of free time, such that I can stream as much as possible. Because there's going to come a point where I'm going to have a lot less time, and I'll be able to stream, much less. So I'm doing what I can right now to try to stream as much as possible. I mean, I think I've streamed like 14 days in a row, something crazy like that, maybe 15 days in a row, and then prior to that, I streamed like, I don't know, 9 or 10 days in a row. I'm just trying to get as much exposure as I can and to try to introduce meditation to as many people as possible. Yeah, the mom and pop shops are the greatest. You're totally right. You're totally right. It's so true. It is so true. Especially the Greek-owned places. Oh, the Greek-owned places are incredible. And this is actually so funny that you mentioned this today, because I literally went to a Greek restaurant for lunch with my father today. It was wild. Unfortunately, he wanted to go to one of the big chains. I don't know fucking why, but he wanted to go to one of the big chains, and he's my dad, so I was like, yeah, okay, we can go there. So we went to Greek Isles, which, I mean, if the food is fine in Greek Isles, right? It's the saganaki is spectacular. I had a Euro platter. I mean, it was great. It was fine, but like, it's not that authentic feel that you get when you go to like an authentic, Greek restaurant in the city, man. It's just not the same. I mean, Greek Isles is like, like it's for like, rich like Oak Brook people. I think that's where it's located in Oak Brook. Like super rich suburb, southwest suburb of Chicago. It's not for me. But if my dad wants to go there, I'm down with that. And JT Friends, you're like, yep, yeah, right. It is. The Greek-owned places they truly are amazing. There's something special. So, yeah, I hope everyone had a good meditation. Is there anything else that anyone would like to discuss? We've been streaming 1 hour 48 minutes, which is I'm pretty satisfied with that. That's a pretty good chunk of time, and we had a long meditation, so that was good. Yeah, so what's us? Speak now or forever hold your peace. You used to have a 5-second delays in chat. Now it's like 10 seconds. So take so long from the moment we type something in chat till it shows up on your side. Huh. Very interesting. Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. All I know is that right now I'm feeling more peaceful, and I don't even want to think about tech issues right now. But I do appreciate your feedback. So it went from a 5-second delay in chat to like 10 seconds. That's interesting. Because on my phone, it's so funny if I go to my phone and I go to the stream on my phone and I type something in, it comes up instantaneously. Oh, but you mean the time that like before I say something, and the time that it comes up on chat. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows what's going on Twitch? Kittens, you say the best are the places named after the owner, like George's on the north side, which has one of the best Euro sandwiches you've ever had, and they are very generous with the meat and fries. The tzatziki sauce is homemade. Yeah, I love homemade tzatziki sauce. I mean, if it's good, obviously, but and that's another big thing, right? To be generous with the meat and the fries, right? I mean, you go to these chains, and a lot of times it's just like the portions are just ridiculous. You go to these authentic places, man, and they'll hook you up. It's because I mean, you're a big dude too, Kittens, man. You need a lot of fuel. You work out a lot just like me, man, and we need to eat, a lot of food to have the energy to do what we do, right? And when you go to some place and it's like you order an entree and you're not even full. I mean, that's something pretty crazy, right? We don't want that. We want to actually feel that that energy and to be able to break it down and have all the nutrients we need for the day. Hey, Adam Yogi is here. What is up, brother? So good to see you, man. So good to see you. Unfortunately, we're winding things down for tonight. We already did the meditation and the chat before, but it's always great to see you, Adam. You know, you're such a wonderful, positive person to have here in chat, and you always have such good insights. So I'm grateful that you were able to make it today. I really am. You know, it's just always a pleasure. You know, I'm trying to build a community here on Twitch, and I consider you part of the community. I mean, everyone here today is part of the community. You know, there's such great people, Kittens and JT Farms, Terra Time. I mean, Evelyn Yoga. That was so nice of you again for the raid earlier. I mean, we have such a good group of people, and you know, I just want to spread that love, and it's funny. It's like, you know, a lot of people are think like, oh, it's not cool for like some big dude to be out there talking about love. Big dudes should be like talking about like, you know, beating people up and like getting drunk and stuff like that. And I'm trying to like break that stereotype. I fucking hate stereotypes. If there's one thing I can't stand in my life, it's fucking stereotypes. You know, I'm a metalhead and I preach fucking love, and I don't care. You know, I'll preach it to anyone. You know, and that's just how it is, you know. And there shouldn't be these stereotypes where just because you're into bands called Septic Flesh and Arcturus and and Gorguts and things like that you're like not into the holistic scene and into spreading love and kindness, you know. Just like I was saying the other day, you know, the Hell's Angels, you know, have their Toys for Tots charity that they do, and they give out toys to little kids that don't have money for toys, you know, on Christmas. And it's like, what an awesome thing for these people to do, you know. What an amazing thing for these people to do. And you know, you never know, just because someone's wearing, you know, has tattoos all over their face and has spikes, you know, in their arms and whatnot, like, doesn't mean they're not the most kind, caring, loving person you're gonna find. So don't judge others based on anything, you know. I mean, people judge others all the time, and it's just maddening to me. It's maddening to me, you know, because I've lived my life. You know, I used to be the metalhead. I had the long hair. You know, I had the metal stickers all over my car. And guess who was getting pulled over, you know, every other day? Me. And why? For the most bullshit reasons, you know. Cops would just pull me over for no reason. This was before they had to wear the cameras, right? And before cameras were ubiquitous. Cops would pull me over all the damn time, and they would harass me, you know, and they would search my car without any cause, you know. I once had a cop say I had snow on my license plate, and that was his reasoning. And then I go back there, and there's absolutely nothing on my license plate, obviously, you know. I once had a cop, say, oh well, you kind of swerved in the lane a little bit back there, and it was such a fucking joke, you know. It's like the cop just saw me driving around late at night, and I had long hair, and I was wearing a leather jacket, and he fucking just wanted to harass me, you know. And that's how cops used to be. That's why I'm pretty happy, you know, that there's that the cameras are out there now. We can hold people more accountable to their actions. Victor Sor, you say, JT Farms, you say, Victor Sor, you say the big dumb dude stereotype really annoys me. Yeah, right? Absolutely. It's like, so I know some of the smartest people I know are like big dudes, you know, and they're like brilliant. I mean, one of my professors at grad school, his name is Jeff Pinn, Dr. Jeff Pinn. He was a Yale professor, you know. He got his PhD from Yale and came and was teaching at my school, and he's gigantic. The dude is like, 6'5", 6'7", and just like this big dude, and like he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant, and he's into meditation, and he's so deep and spreads love and kindness and is so compassionate. So it's like yeah, I mean, the big dumb dude stereotype fucking sucks, man. Absolutely, I hate that. Let's see. JT Farms, you're saying to Kittens, one day Kit Kat will come to Chicago to share a euro with Mia. That would be, yeah, you got to come to Chicago. You got to come to Chicago with your Kit Kat. And then the cats can and Parmenides too. Parmenides likes euros, right? Parmenides likes euros. Why not, right? Victor Story, you say, why, according to some people, can't big people be smart or deep, according to stereotypes? An interesting question to consider to explore our social psyches. I know, right? When people think of big dudes, they always think of these like dumb, like hulking guys, who just want to like smash people in the head or whatever. And it's like that's just not the case. And there's no scientific evidence to support that like smaller people are smarter. I mean, where the fuck did that come from? Adam Yogi, you say you got straight A's, but when we were bad kids, but when we were the bad kids because we wore metal shirts every day in high school, some teachers called us the black shirt crew. They liked searching our lockers. Yeah, right? It's so fucking nuts, man. All these stereotypes, just because you're wearing your metal shirts. I mean, I used to wear metal shirts every single day too, man. That was my thing. Not just metal, like also Nine Inch Nails. That was like a big, and it still is a big band in my life. It's Trent Reznor is one of my favorite musicians, and and Tool was like a huge band, and I know they're technically under the genre of metal, but they're not metal. They're not like the crazy metal, but they're like they actually kind of helped me start some of my spiritual journey like a little bit with some of Maynard's insights and whatnot, and I learned a lot from that band. Nowadays I feel like whenever the last album they came out with was pretty damn similar to the previous one, so like I feel like they're not really evolving much more nowadays, but they're still awesome. I went and saw them last time they were in Chicago. All right, Mia will treat Kit Kat to multiple meals and will cook for her. Nice. Steak salmon, please. That's a meal like that's what Kit Kat likes, huh? Steak salmon. Yeah, steak salmon. My cat likes steak salmon too. It will be a kitty outing. Yes, the philosopher cat too. Parmenides will be in there. I want to bring my philosopher cat into meet some other cats, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, she has had no exposure to another cat since I adopted her from the Humane Society. So like I don't know. I have no idea how she would react. Like she could be totally friendly. She could be totally like crazy and psycho. Who knows what she'd be like. But it's good to get her that kind of exposure, that kind of experience. She needs that kind of excitement in her life because typically she doesn't get it. Typically it's just her like trying to get attention from me like all the time, and I can't give her attention all the time. Victor, so you say you really liked NIN and Tool too. This led me eventually to Opeth. Victor, sorry, you're into Opeth, man. Fuck yeah, that's. I think you might have even mentioned that. And Adam Yogi, you say, ooh, Opeth. Opeth is incredible, dude. Those guys. You know why I respect Opeth so much? Because they have not been afraid to change their musical style throughout the years. Like one album sounds so different from the next. They evolve. The thing that I can't stand are bands that like they come out with an awesome, cool album, right? And then like you're all excited and they get huge, and then like the next album sounds like the same. And then the next album sounds the same. That's a telltale sign that those artists are not growing. They're not growing. They're not evolving. They're not evolving themselves, right? The whole point of this channel, to evolve yourself, right? They're not evolving. They're just staying the same. They're in the same rut. They're like, oh, we found something that works, so let's make everything sound like this, And it's garbage. And, sure, people may like buy their next album and buy a couple more albums, but eventually people are going to get sick, and they're going to sick of it. And they're going to realize that there's no new insights. There's no new talent with those bands. Yeah, but Opeth is fuck yeah, man. That's cool that you guys are all into Opeth. Dude, it's so funny. I'm sitting here teaching meditation and philosophy, and I'm getting a bunch of metalheads like in my chat. Like, like what an awesome example right there of like the ridiculous stereotype against metalheads, that metalheads, are all just stupid, big dumb idiots who want to punch each other, and like troglodyte style in the head, It's like it's so funny, it's and then metalheads turn out to be like the nicest people on the planet, They're a lot less. I'll tell you what, they're a lot less judgmental. I have found a lot less judgmental people in metalhead. There is, but I will say this though, there is a little bit of elitism, right, in the metal community, and so that you have to say that, to be perfectly honest. But in some areas, but for the most part, metalheads are just They're just the nicest people you're gonna find, and they're loyal too, and they're there for people. And you know what though? If the situation calls for it, a lot of times, they'll be willing to throw down too. And that sometimes you have to defend some. You got to defend someone. Like if you see like a someone who's getting like robbed or whatever, and you can help, like step in, if you can. Or if you're getting robbed, you got to defend yourself, right? And so like yeah, sometimes action is necessary. JT Farms, you say, or Adam Yogi, you say, the one in my Twitch profile, her name is Charlie. Oh, your cat's a solipsist? Your cat is a solipsist. Dude, that is funny. That is so funny. That reminds me of a story. When I was an undergraduate student, I took a philosophy class, and I had a really awesome professor, and he kind of got me into philosophy in a lot of ways. But anyways, he said that he once was in the stall in grad school in the philosophy department. He was in the bathroom stall, and written on the back of the door of the stall was "Solipsists Unite." And he thought that was the funniest thing, and I think that's a pretty damn clever fucking thing to say, to graffiti on the back of a stall, if you're going to graffiti. But that's cool though that your cat's a solipsist, that's a. Here's the thing about solipsism though. People, I mean, it's funny to joke around with, but people who hold that view, it typically goes one of two ways. They either piss everyone off around them, right? Because they're like they come off very egotistical or whatnot. Or they end up in jail or in an institution and a psych ward, and it doesn't end well for people who hold that view. Like there's not really many good outcomes of being a solipsist. All right, yeah, Opeth is brilliant. What are your favorite Opeth songs or songs from NIN Tool artists like that? Wow, holy shit, we could talk forever, man. Okay. Let me just say this first. Downward Spiral it's always in my top 5 albums of all time. It's such an incredible fucking album. I mean, it changed the way music was made. There was nothing like Downward Spiral prior to Downward Spiral. And you know what? No one's ever been able to replicate it. I mean, Nails and Ministry were like the 2 founders of the industrial movement, and Downward Spiral. And then you had Pretty Hate Machine, you had Broken, but Downward Spiral was like something so new and something so original, and it just changed everything. And then with Tool, holy shit. Undertow had such a profound influence on me. That album was just incredible. People like look at the names of the songs like, Prison Sex and Sober, and then they get these like weird notions in their head that they're not deep, that Tool is not deep, but Tool is one of the most deep bands out there. They're incredibly deep, so like, yeah, that's what I dig from them. And then Opeth, I think it was what was it, a Blackwater Park or something like that. I forget. I always forget the names of the albums. I think it was like something like Blackwater Park or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Whenever I listen to Opeth nowadays, what I do is I just put the album on. I just put the album on shuffle, automatic, or not the album, but the group, the artist on automatic shuffle, and I just let it cycle through all the songs, and I go through there. Now I'm really curious. Yeah, what was the name of that Opeth album? I gotta look right now. Give me a second. Opeth. I have the entire collection. So Opeth, Wikipedia, documents or discographies. Yeah, Blackwater Park, right? That was an awesome album. And Damnation. Damnation is definitely one of my favorites as well. That was such a good album. those two albums really inspired me. And you know, their older, more blackish metal stuff, you know, pure black metal stuff was like you know really you know good. And I like that. I like when a band comes out with like that pure like you know growl and that intense you know black metal sound, and then transitions away, kind of like Ulver. Ulver is another one of my favorite bands. And they, you know, like initially they were just like straight up like, you know, black metal, you know, like, you know, hardcore, you know, black metal with the blah, blah, blah. And think about how Ulver has changed over the years. Holy shit, Ulver's like, I mean, now like I think they had the assassination of Julius Caesar, right? And then I think they came out with one more album after that, and the sound is just totally different compared to their original stuff. And it's funny, like a lot of their original fans were not cool with the changes that they've gone through. But I respect that so much. I respect the fact that they've evolved and grown, and I love bands that do that, you know. And that's what I'm always looking for. That's why I like Trent Reznor so much. Every single album sounds so different. Hesitation Marks, where did that come from? Where did Hesitation Marks come from? That album was, I mean, there's nothing they've made nothing like that, you know, nothing even close to like that. That's kind of like a surfer vibe mixed in with industrial music. It was wild, right? And Pretty Hate Machine obviously was like the beginning. Fragile was an amazing album. I mean, I loved that. I mean, I Nine Inch Nails is one of the few bands that I can say that I like every single song they've made on all their main albums. Not on some of their remixes. You know, like on Fixed, there were some songs I didn't like, and you know there were some other songs, but I pretty much like every single song. It's funny. There's one song I didn't like, and that's Down in It, and that from Pretty Hate Machine. That was like the one song, and that was like one of the most popular ones. I just never got into that song. It just, I don't know why, but like you know everything else they've ever made, I've dug. Where were we here? So yeah, okay. So Victor, so you asked me what my favorite Opeth songs and Nails and Tool is. Absolutely, some of the ideas I've been looking at right now might inform people why people stereotype people like metalheads, etc. Yeah, right. Where did that stereotype come from? You know, I mean, because if you think about it, like a lot of the funniest thing too, like if you look at Norwegian metal nowadays, where like 99% of metal bands come from that region. If you look at the Norwegian metal bands and the you know those Nordic countries and all that, if you look at that, like you're going into deep philosophy when you read their lyrics and when you go into their music. It's really deep. I mean, it's talking about they deal with metaphysics, they deal with epistemology. It's very continental. And that was something that I actually had a bit of an issue with initially, because like I'm an analytic philosopher and I know very little about continental philosophy. But I started getting into continental philosophy more. So like it now makes sense. You know, they talk a lot about existentialism and and things like that. And and the notion of being, and you know, they bring in Heidegger and things like that. And it's crazy. What was the other album? Themes from William Blake's Marriage of Heaven and Hell. Ulver did that, and that was crazy. That was literally, you know, one of William Blake's greatest works. And like, you know, it's like they they found like, you know, these amazing, you know, paragraphs from it, and that was like the lyrics to their album. It's like, who does that, you know? I mean, you're not going to find that in pop culture. You're not going to find like Britney Spears like having an album coming off listing, you know, reading quotations from William Blake's Heaven and Hell. I mean, it's crazy, right? You know, it's just wild. Where else were we at here? You wonder if you could get it funded. I really hope so. Dude, Adam Yogi, there's something really cool out there. Someone wrote their dissertation many years ago on the downward spiral. And Victor Sor, you should check that out too. There's if you haven't seen it, read it. There's an awesome, and you can find it on Google. There's a dissertation on the downward spiral, and it's incredible. It was so good. It was so right on point. So definitely check it out. Whenever you get a chance. I know you guys would probably love it, and anyone else who's interested in learning about Nine Inch Nails and the downward spiral and the impact it made, and like what they're talking about in there, what Trent's talking about there, because Nine Inch Nails basically is Trent Reznor. he's had a cast of characters throughout the years, but at the end of the day, Nine Inch Nails is Trent Reznor. How do you know what Ola England is? I don't know. I don't know what Ola England is. I guess I must have missed something. Victor Story, you say Downward Spiral is the album that got you into NA in the first place. It's totally brilliant, right? And there was nothing like it at the time. The song Closer by Inattention. Yeah, I mean, Closer was crazy. Like, and the funny thing is, Trent thought that was going to be one of the weakest songs on the album. He didn't realize how much that song was going to connect with everyone. But then, he came out with it and as a single, I believe, and everyone was just like, oh my God, this song is incredible. And then they made the video, and the video was just out of this world. I mean, anyone who has not seen the video for Downward Spiral, definitely check it out. I mean, there were no videos like that either back in the day. Blackwater Park, great album. Favorite songs are Leper, Affinity, Bleak, and Patterns in the Ivy. Cool. Yeah, I don't know those track titles. I don't know if they're on the album, but I'll look through those later. Definitely, because those are I pretty much love most of what they make. Kittens Kung Fu, you say Trent has been an amazing producer for movie scores and soundtracks. Yeah, a lot of people. You're totally right. I know now he's doing that, right? He did the score for Social Network. He's done the score for some, I think, for some Pixar movies, right? He's done the score for all sorts of stuff, right? And he's been winning like Academy Awards or whatever awards they give to those people. I mean, he's a musical genius to the max. That guy is amazing. I mean, and his ear is always open for new sounds. One of the coolest stories about Trent, I remember when he was making the Fragile, there was this certain sound that he wanted that he couldn't find, and he couldn't come up with. He just needed that inspiration, right? And he was out at a bar at his near his place in New Orleans. I think he still owns a home in New Orleans, or he used to own there, and it was also his studio, right? Anyways, he was out at some bar and he heard some really obnoxious women like screaming and like laughing really loudly, like really drunk and just kind of like hammered in the background. And that's exactly the noise that he wanted. That's exactly the sound that he wanted. So he paid them to come on over to his place and reenact that sound in his recording studio. And it was like such an awesome move. And it's on one of his tracks. If you look it up on Google, you'll be able to find it, what track it's on. But you can hear it then, and it's cool. And then there's another cool part from some crazy old sci-fi movie that he took and he clipped, and it's in what song is it in? Reptile. It's in Reptile. It's like that sound that goes like doom 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 doom. It's like that was like the worst rendition ever. I'm so sorry, but like if you look it up, you'll see it and you can hear it. And it's from this sci-fi movie. And sci-fi horror movie, I think. And I went and I checked out the sci-fi horror movie. You could probably find it on YouTube, right? And it's just that sound is in there, and it's crazy. It's like, holy shit, Trent used that sound. That's where he came up with that brilliant sound. It was, I think it was like of like an elevator lift going up, and it was like some crazy noise that he just used throughout Reptile on Downward Spiral. Okay, let's see. Victor Story, you say, may I share a link to Patterns in the Ivy Part 2? Not in the original. Absolutely, yeah. I have links set up. And so like, yeah, definitely you should be able to share it. If it times you out, I am so sorry. It might time you out for like a few minutes or something like that. But I had a link set up. Mobius, you say, is there rants? What's up, homies? What kind of rants are you talking about? You want to go on a rant, dude, or am I going on a rant? I mean, I'm always going on a rant. I'm a loquacious guy. I'm always talking, crazy, my crazy philosophical ideas. I'm talking about metaphysics and philosophy and all that. But rants are good, man. You're down for rants, dude? Well, I'd love to hear your rants, man. What's going on? How have you been? Mobius is a phenomenal streamer here on Twitch. Did it shout you out, Mobius? Did it not shout you out? Hold on a second. What is going on with my stream elements today, man? It's not giving my shout outs correctly. All right, I'm getting pissed off about that now. You know, I just had this like super peaceful meditation, and now I actually have to do stuff by hand. Let's do shout out Mobius. There we go. Okay. I don't know why it didn't. Let me write myself a note. I mean, I know it's shouted. I know it's done automatic shout outs for you in the past. That's why this is not working right. DJ Imbalance was in here earlier today too, and it didn't give him the correct shout out. So yeah, all right, you're here. Yeah, so Mobius won. All right, and I got to remember the one too. I just know you as Mobius. I never. Does anyone ever say Mobius won, or do people just say Mobius? But anyways, let's see when what do we got going on here? Victor Soar. Let's. You know what? I hope you guys don't mind. I want to check out. I want to check it out right now. Let's check out the song a little bit. Just the first minute. We'll just do like a minute of the song. Wow, yeah, man. Dude, nice recommendation. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. Thank you so much. Let me I'm actually just going to minimize it because I want to listen to this later. I want to listen to the whole track again later. That is awesome. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I know, right? DMCA, they could kick it, but I'm risking it. So the way I do it is if you do like very short segments, a lot of times you can push it through. DMCA has only called me out once because I was playing some tracks from Nine Inch Nails' Ghosts, and the thing is, Ghosts is a free fucking album, dude. It's a free goddamn album. You know, if you remember, Trent put it out for free, and you can get it for free on the internet. So I was like, DMCA is not going to come after me for putting out a free album, right? Wrong. Twitch does not like. I mean, it wasn't DMCA, it was Twitch, you know. And Twitch is like, oh, you know, DMCA, blah blah blah. And I'm like, and I was arguing. I'm like, dude, this is a free fucking album. How can you come? Why would you? I gave them credit. It's a free album. Like, how can you come after me for this? You know, how can you yell at me? And they weren't coming after me, but you know, I don't know. It was just frustrating. It was frustrating because I wanted to play in my startup screen. I wanted to have some tracks from Ghosts because I figured that would be an awesome startup screen. But nope, they just wouldn't allow it. All right. Where are we at here? Grind my ears. All right. And then where else are we at here? When we die, do we think our brain function continues for 6 months? And it's like a really, really long ass REM lucid dream that feels like eternity. Ooh, interesting, Mobius. That's a cool idea. Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know. That would be wild though if our brain function does continue for 6 months. I mean, and it's like a really, really long ass REM lucid dream. I mean, you know what? My dreams are so ridiculous. I hope it's a good dream. If that's the case, I really hope it's a good dream because I get some crazy dreams, man. I like that, dude. Mobius, you're so awesome, man. You're a philosopher at heart, and I don't know if you've read much philosophy, man, but you are definitely a philosopher at heart. And I love your fitness and health streams. Anyone who has not checked out Mobius, check him out. He's an awesome streamer here in the fitness and health community. Does primarily weightlifting. His partner in crime is Allie Smalls, amazing fitness and health streamer too. They're just so positive and they're awesome together. And they do other stuff too. They do like travel streams and stuff like that. I've seen them out like in nature, like walking down these beautiful scenic paths. So. Let's see. Admiral, you say you hope so was my answer too. What suggests that happens? Don't get DMCAs. I know you got to be careful of that. All right. Then we're at Okay. Mobius, you were saying, Admiral, last I heard, brain function at a super low level continues for 6 months after you die. Could be old and tell, and you're not a neuroscientist. Whoa, that's intense. That there's some brain activity that's existing for that long after the person dies. I never heard that, man. That's cool though. That's really neat. Interesting. Huh. Interesting. All right. Like imagine that 5 minutes between your snooze buttons that feel like hours. Now do the math on low level brain function for 6 months with the same equation. Perhaps the explanation for the afterlife. Yeah, right. And there's all sorts of interesting explanations for the afterlife. I like that though. What you're saying, like for a while, like I own a book called DMT, the spirit molecule. I don't know. Have any of you heard of DMT? It's dimethyltryptamine. I don't know if anyone in the chat has heard of it. It's oh, you hit Mobius, you have heard of it, yeah. So they call it the spirit molecule. It's because it exists. First of all, it exists in all living things, and in humans, it exists in the pineal gland in the brain. So you have what's filled with DMT, basically this gland in your brain, and when you die, it releases DMT into your system. And DMT is actually the strongest hallucinogenic known to man. It's crazy, right? So like that was some people there are some advocates of DMT who not just advocates of DMT, but spiritual people that argue that, hey, maybe the afterlife is simply the release of DMT, but then I would say I would counter argue and say, or maybe DMT is simply the transition. Like you need to get your body into a transitory state to transition into, like, that state of pure oneness or whatnot. But who knows, right? We never know for certain. You want to try, but it scares. Yeah, right. I mean, it scares. Ahauska. I don't know. I think there's DMT in there. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure though, right? You just Google it to find out. Yeah, we do naturally produce DMT. It's naturally and not just us. DMT exists in all living things. How crazy is that? Like in a blade of grass outside, there is a level of DMT. So what is this? What is this? Dimethyltryptamine that's existing everywhere. That's also the strongest hallucinogen known to man, and that also is like not released in your body until you die. From an evolutionary standpoint, that really doesn't seem like it makes much sense, right? Like, why would you have something that's only released when you die? So I looked into it further, and when I was talking with one of my molecular biology professors as an undergrad, he said that a lot of times when you die, a lot of your glands release chemicals. So that's also another explanation. Let's see. Victor, sorry, you say Chalmers, the hard problem vibes here. Yeah, right. The hard problem of consciousness. Those of you who don't know what the hard problem of consciousness is, the hard problem is basically how it is that something immaterial, so something like consciousness, how is it that something that is not made of matter, such as consciousness, can arise from the brain, which is made of matter, which is material? And no one has no fucking concept. No one has any fucking concept. And I just dropped 2 F-bombs in a short period of time, but no one has any concept of how that is the case, right? And we're not even close. We're nowhere near ever, bridging that gap and figuring that out. I mean, how is it, right? If it is the case, let's put it in analytic philosopher terms. If it is the case such that if it is the case such that the brain gives rise to consciousness, and then do the second part of the conditional, then how is it how is it such that or what is this immaterial thing? How can something immaterial? I just botched that really bad. I'm sorry. Man, I'm rusty. I gotta read up more on my analytic philosophy. But anyways, the idea is, yeah, how is it that something immaterial can arise from something material, right? We don't know the nature of material things well enough to even know how. What does it mean for something to be immaterial, right? Like what is an abstract object, like a number, right? And numbers are considered abstract objects. Like, what are numbers? What is their ontological status? I don't know. No one knows, right? Do numbers exist independently of human beings? I mean, do they? Is there such a thing in existence, call the number that exists, that's an abstract entity. I mean, we don't know these things. These are crazy questions in philosophy. Mobius, you say, what interests me is that on other drugs and alcohol, everyone can have a different experience, but with DMT, everyone's recount seems to be a similar experience. Is very interesting. Is this truly a unique realm of existence? Yeah, I know, right? DMT. That you're right. DMT and I recommend this book I have to anyone out there. It's called DMT: The Spirit Molecule, and it basically it's of a guy. He's I think some kind of like psychology PhD, and I think he injects himself or subjects with DMT. I haven't read it in years, but then he writes, he records all the effects and everything. And yeah, there was a lot of very similar experiences. They were all having very similar, times while on that drug, right? Victor, so you say, I think a part of the argument relies on the nature of evolution, which seeks efficiency. Our conscious experience, however, is anything but efficient. Why is it not just some automatic and unconscious experience? This is part of the Chalmers argument thing. I think part of the argument relies on the nature of evolution, which seeks efficiency. Our conscious experience, however, is anything but efficient. That's so true. Yeah, consciousness is like, it's crazy, but it is evolutionarily advantageous to have consciousness. That's why we have it, as opposed to like, sharper teeth or like, long, real long, strong nails, right? Because consciousness has put us at the top of the animal kingdom, right? It's really done a lot. Our conscious experience, however, is anything but efficient. Why is it not just some automatic and unconscious experience? This is part of the Chalmers. Yeah, Chalmers. I think you're right in that too, from my understanding of it. Definitely. I think you're on point with that. Absolutely, man. This is great. So this is cool. We got some good philosophy talk in at the end of the stream, and I think I'm about ready to wrap things up, unless anyone has any final thoughts. You know. Oh, Adam Yogi. I remember learning about theories of the zeitgeist, like collective unconscious, that we all tap into. But I suppose we could go down the road about how DNA seems to have much more data in it than just instructions for cell growth. There are some that think there's a historical record built in. Dude, the collective consciousness, the collective unconscious, man. Like that's like Jungian stuff, man. I love that stuff, right? And there were a couple famous experiments that were done with that. And I believe the main one that got to me that I thought was coolest was they would publish. I took a bunch of people and put them in like a closed facility, right? So they couldn't leave, and these people had to do the puzzle from the daily puzzle from like the New York Times or whatever, like the daily crossword puzzle, right? So they were doing the daily crossword puzzle, and then over time, they increased a little bit because they were just getting practice, doing the crossword puzzle. But for the most part, they weren't changing. There was no dramatic changes in how well they were doing on those crossword puzzles. But then like one day, Jung gave them, or his research students, whoever was doing it, gave them a crossword puzzle that had already been published. The results had already been published in the papers, right? This is from a while back, right? And but they had not been exposed to these results, right? And the people who did this crossword puzzle that had already been exposed, to the world, but not to them, scored significantly higher in it, and that's pretty amazing to think about, right? So it's like, what accounts for that? And it was statistically significant. Those of you who don't know, we always look for 95 in science. We look for 95% confidence intervals, and that's what makes something statistically significant. So there were This was their results, their higher results in these crossword puzzles was statistically significant, and it's like pretty badass. It's pretty awesome that they were able to do this. So yeah, so that was like one of my coolest things about the collective unconscious. But anyways, I kind of got sidetracked there. You were saying learning about consciousness we all tap into. But I suppose we could go down the road about how DNA seems to have much more data in it than just instructions for cell growth. DNA has a lot of information embedded in it. Because think about it from an evolutionary standpoint, right? We need our bodies to be as efficient as possible. We need that DNA to store as much in it as it can to make it efficient, to give us that evolutionary edge. So whenever there's a mutation and it's selected for in that environment, then that's going to get passed on to the offspring, and then they're going to have a slight edge over their competitors. And over the course of a vast evolutionary time, it's gonna become a dominant trait, assuming there's no negative aspects to it as well. So those of you who don't know, by the way, that's why sickle cell is still around. Sickle cell anemia is crazy because if you're a homozygote for sickle cell, you're basically fucked, right? You have the homozygous dominant, right? You have the two dominant alleles for sickle cell, and you're basically not going to be able to breathe right. Your red blood cells are going to be all sickled. Hey, Swiss R is now hosting my stream. Thank you so much. Swiss R is an awesome dude here, great streamer in the fitness and health community. Does these amazing travel streams of Switzerland, of Lucene, and just amazing travel streams. Definitely check him out. Wonderful guy. And super supportive. I call him the ambassador of the fitness and health community. He's that awesome. So definitely check him out. We were talking about sickle cell anemia. So if you have two dominant alleles for the sickle cell trait, then you're going to basically have sickled red blood cells, which means their shape is all fucked up, and they can't have hemoglobin bind to them very well. So like you're basically going to be like always short of breath, and you can't run around much, depending on the severity of it, right? If you're a homozygote for not having the sickle cell allele, and I'm sorry, that was homozygous recessive. If you're homozygous dominant for having the normal allele, then you're just not going to have sickle cell, and you're just going to live your life with normal red blood cells, right? But if you're a heterozygote, it doesn't affect you very much. It doesn't affect your red blood cells very much, such that they can still bind to hemoglobin for the most part. It affects it a little bit, but not a tremendous amount. So you might be thinking, well, then how did sickle cell become so prevalent in Africa, right? Because that's where it's mostly prevalent. It's because if you're a heterozygote for sickle cell anemia, it gives you resistance to malaria. It's totally fucking awesome, right? Because your red blood cells are sickled, the malaria virus has nothing to bind to. It can't attach to your red blood cells. The receptor site is different than what it can bind to. So you can't get malaria if you're a heterozygote. So there's an it's evolutionary advantageous if you live in a high malaria environment to actually be a heterozygote for sickle cell. If you have both alleles for sickle cell, then you're fucked. And if you don't have any of the if you're not a heterozygote, if you don't have any of the alleles for sickle cell, then you're going to get malaria and probably die. So then you're fucked. But if you're a heterozygote, you're in good shape, and that's why you can survive, and that's why sickle cell is still around. They actually started noticing interesting things about sickle cell. It's by the way, sickle cell is primarily in the black population because it arises, it's in Africa, right? And that's where it came out of. So when in World War II, when black people were flying in the planes, to drop bombs, like in the military, to drop bombs, and whatnot, they some of them were like having trouble breathing, and they're like, well, what's going on here, and that's when they noticed that they were heterozygotes for the sickle cell trait. It's pretty amazing. All right, Ed Milgie, you say you love Jung and. Or actually Jung, it's actually pronounced, I believe, and you've been reading some stuff he did on the chakras. Yeah, on the chakras. By the way, you can pronounce chakra as well. It goes both ways, So that's kind of something neat. But yeah. He's done a lot of stuff, and he's been in all these different disciplines. His shadow, the shadow, the Jungian shadows, and the archetypes and all that. Right? I mean, it's all interesting stuff. But anyways, yeah, it's about time we wrap up, I think. Thank you all so much for being here and for meditating with me and for participating in the philosophy. I'm so honored and humbled to be your meditation guide and to talk philosophy with you. It's truly been an honor. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I hope you have more peace in your lives than you did prior to the stream. And let's see who we're going to rate. Oh, Imbalanced Physique. Imbalanced Physique is streaming out. We're gonna give Imbalanced Physique a raid. Give him a lot of love. Awesome streamer here on Twitch, and is just real supportive of the community. All right. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And good, yeah, you too, Victor. Sorry, and yeah, good night to you too, Adam. Thanks. Have namaste to everyone here. Namaste to all of you. I love you all. Seltzy, hey, popped in at the very end. Shout out to Seltzy, and we're leaving. We're raiding. Good seeing you, Seltzy. Good night.